to the Penny for Our Thoughts podcast, where you can get a third-party opinion on your worries, concerns, or problems that you may have. But please do not keep it to yourself and give some to us. My name is John.
And my name's Gerald, and we're your hosts for today's episode of the Penny for Our Thoughts podcast. John, how are you?
I am good. And yourself?
I'm okay. I'm pretty good. Today felt good, but it's not just you and me here today.
Again, it's not just us.
We always have I always say very special guest. And I'm not lying because all the guests are very special.
Of course. I agree with you.
Guest, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chloe, aka Loco. I'm just kidding. Don't. We're not using that.
No, it's staying in. I'm sorry. Chloe, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Chloe and I have been good friends for I don't know how long now, but turns out we don't know each other very well. We're just comfortable with each other. But thanks for joining us here.
Thanks. Turns out we're also secretly related.
Is that for real? Okay, we're talking about that after the episode.
All right. So today, Chloe, and if obviously you've listened to the podcast, we have 5 concerns today.
That's a doozy.
Yeah,
that's our record.
It's the most that we had in a podcast. So we have 5 today. Be aware that Gerald and I are going to put you on the spot here because some of these we can't answer, and you'll understand why once we get into the concern. Both you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
I just want to acknowledge this is episode 20.
It is 20.
It's episode 20.
Yep.
Wow. Can they hear me clapping?
Yeah. All right, let's get going.
All right. First one is from Jonathan. Title is, if a man is genuinely interested, he will approach you. Do women really believe this? I was just reading a post from a woman who was stating her belief that if a man doesn't approach, that means he is uninterested. And conversely, if he has any interest at all, he will definitely make a move. I find this fascinating because it is so completely false. For most men, 99.9999% of the time, when we see a woman we are absolutely interested in approaching, we don't. Unless she's given some sort of clear signal that she's open to being approached, and even then, a huge percentage of men are clueless to her signals. Many guys are shy or introverted, plus there is the fear of being rejected. The biggest fear of being labeled a creep, #MeToo, wanting to respect her space, being told repeatedly not to approach in public, etc., etc. How is it possible that so many men are oblivious to this, really?
Ooh. I think it kind of depends how you approach like the girl too. Cause like some guys do it like really creepily, and then some guys are like way too aggressive and forward, and like that translates to being creepy. But I also saw this TikTok the other day where like this girl was talking about how like really pretty girls don't get approached by, because I think the guys just get intimidated with how pretty they are. Or I don't know, something like that. But I don't know. Wait, what was the question?
Well, yeah, do you believe, as a woman, obviously, do you believe that if a man doesn't approach you, you believe that that man is not interested in you?
That's hard because like I don't like being approached. Like,
that wasn't the question.
I know. I'm just thinking like I'm putting myself in like a girl's shoes. Like, I mean, I would automatically think that the guy is like interested if he does, but like, I don't know.
Here, I'll like paint a scenario here for you. So let's say you like a guy.
Okay.
Right? From school, work, wherever it might be, you like a guy, right? But you don't know if he's interested in you or like the feelings are mutual.
Yeah.
It's just right now, it's just one side and you like the guy.
Okay.
He doesn't approach you. Are you going to assume that, okay, he's not interested in me?
Yeah, I guess. I guess.
Wow.
So women do believe that.
Well, this woman does.
This woman.
I guess, yeah.
It's possible. Well, okay. Speaking as a guy, I've definitely been interested in many girls and not approached them.
Yeah.
So I can attest to what this guy is saying. I'm assuming it's a guy that's posting this.
Yes, Jonathan. So I'm
Jonathan.
assuming, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like I can attest to that where number one, I've been intimidated. Or number two, for some reason, I just don't think it's worth it, or fear of rejection, whatever. There's many reasons for me to be interested in a girl and not approach her.
Why though? Like,
There's a lot
all
of
the
reasons.
reasons I just listed.
No, I mean, like, then what's kind of like the point of you even like being interested if you're not going to do anything about it?
I feel like
Like,
that's
you just forget about it
to
later?
make that argument simple is because you just said yourself you don't like to be approached.
Yeah, that's true.
number one.
Number one. So there you go. So we don't know if you would want to be approached. So how can we do it?
Yeah.
But then if we don't approach you, you guys automatically believe, well, you do too, and a lot of women apparently believe that we're not interested.
True. I mean, like, okay, like most women, I think when most women say that they don't like being approached, I think they mean that like when guys are like overly like forward.
Yeah,
I think there's like a time and a place that's like appropriate for guys to like approach girls that like wouldn't be so creepy. Like, especially because like say we use your situation where like I am interested in a guy and like I'm wondering if he likes me or not. And if he approached me like really aggressively, like I'd be turned off in like an instant. I'd be like, oh, never mind, leave me alone.
That's
So,
fair.
like,
That's fair. But then,
I think that's
so
fair.
then why do you believe that he's not interested if he doesn't approach you?
Okay. In her defense, a lot of people don't approach me every day. I don't go around being like, that person's interested. That person's interested. Like, I don't think the approaching is the act that kind of determines it,
yeah.
I think it's human nature to not assume that someone's interested in you.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to like make any assumptions. with this
Exactly.
guy. Like,
I think that's human nature.
yeah.
Maybe like, I feel like it'd be a stretch to be like, oh, he didn't approach me or she didn't approach me. She must think I'm disgusting. Like, I don't think most people think like that. I think it's more of a neutral stance where they didn't approach me. They're probably not interested, but like I could care less sort of thing. Right.
Yeah. And there's also like the bias too that like if you're attractive and like you approach a girl, like then it doesn't come off as creepy. Whereas like if you're ugly and you approach a girl, then it's then like
The double
that's creepy.
standard.
Yeah. Like there definitely is that bias too. So like maybe that guy's feeling a little burned. Like based on maybe how he looks. I don't know. I don't want to assume, but like
Literally just text on a cell phone. She said she's called you ugly,
I'm just
Jonathan.
no, I mean
My name
that's
is
a
John.
factor.
All right. Just ribbon.
And honestly, like, if women do believe that, yeah, I think it is human nature. And a lot
Yeah.
of people aren't full of themselves.
That's the thing.
That's
right?
the big thing, I think, is even, I mean, if you don't approach them and you're interested and the girls or the woman assumes that you're not interested, I think it's fair because, again, they're not going to be like, oh, this person likes me, but not going to talk to me or not approach me and stuff like that. I think that's, you're right, human nature. And secondly is that no one's that full of themselves to be like, even if you're not talking to me, I know you like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And girls also tend to do this thing where like I don't know. I had this talk with so many of my girlfriends where like if we are interested in a guy, we kind of like send like subliminal messages through our mind and like the way we look at them and we're like, come to me. Like
Oh my god.
So I actually, this was the question I want to ask on this topic is if you were interested in someone, would you approach them?
would I approach them? Probably.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go. Okay.
I know.
So there you
Because I don't know. Like, again, it's that double standard. Like, I feel like it's not as creepy if I'm like a girl.
Wait.
But like,
the double standard you said earlier was good looking versus not
well,
good
yeah,
looking.
but this is a different double standard
okay.
now.
Okay. I won't
Where
go there.
like, like it sucks that it's kind of creepier that if it's like a guy that does the approaching, that it's creepy, and if it's a girl, it's not. But like, I also know like not to be creepy though.
That's fair.
know.
Like generally how to approach people in a way that they probably wouldn't find creepy.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I'd probably just like make small talk or be like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think Chloe made a good point because you said that you would approach someone if you're interested in them. But if someone doesn't approach you, you won't think as interested. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she would personally go
Yeah.
to that person and say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm interested. And if someone doesn't do that to her, she'll be like, okay, that's fine. Right? Because she does it herself.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
makes sense.
have not, but I'm just kidding. I'm saying
But
I
you would.
But you would. That's what matters.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that one clears up that one pretty well.
It's a little unfortunate. Like I thought it would go the other way. I kind of thought it would go the other way that like that a woman wouldn't just discount a guy because he didn't approach her. Like in your example, a girl or a woman would just see a guy that she's interested in and automatically assume that he's not interested. Like there could be many factors to that.
Yeah.
But just if it's like isolating the fact that he didn't approach her, I wouldn't like automatically assume. Maybe I would, because like low self-esteem. That'll be a different.
But there's people out there that are kind of opposite of Chloe, which I think it's worse, where you automatically believe if a guy doesn't approach you, they don't like you. But then if you like someone, you won't approach them either.
Yeah.
Because because some people think
so then
that
it's
like the guy's job to like court the woman or whatever.
Right.
There are people out there, and if you think like that, I think you should change.
I just had a memory actually where like in high school, like I remember like having a crush on a guy and like we never talked, and like I always kind of thought like I was trying to send like those subliminal like mind messages, and I'm like
the worst.
I'm not sending them enough. That's why he's not coming to me. Like, but the vibration isn't strong enough for him to come.
Our wavelengths haven't lined up yet.
So I didn't automatically like write off that he's not interested. It was all my fault. I didn't look at him enough. Like we didn't bump into each other accidentally.
Jeez, all these hints.
So this next topic kind of ties pretty closely.
Okay.
This one's from Ugly. There's a swear, but I'll say Ugly. The title is why is that women think that every guy is just trying to get laid? I feel like a guy I'm constantly accused of just wanting sex from women and nothing else. It's really offensive. Like the vast majority of guys I know are not like that. Every guy that I know is in a relationship or wants a relationship. Out of the guys in my frat, maybe like a fourth of them want to sleep around. I just don't think most guys just want sex. This seems like a sexist stereotype that should have died whenever the stereotype that women don't like sex died. I'm sure they're out there, but I don't think that's all, or even the majority of men. I think maybe they might be the majority of men women want to match with and end up going on dates with, but definitely not most men. Most men have feelings and desire love and companionship. I just don't get how this is such a novel concept. And that kind of ties in together because
I would agree.
If you approach someone as a guy and, yes, the girl might not, if you don't approach them, the girl's going to assume that they're not interested. But if you as a guy approach them, the girl's just going to think, oh, this guy just wants to get in my pants. Like, there's a win-win for us, Gerald.
I mean, I have a girlfriend, so I'm fine with that.
But there's no win-win for us. Chloe?
What do you think?
Why do you think that?
That actually is really interesting because, like, as a self-proclaimed feminist,
there you go.
like, there's a lot. I stumble a lot of like discourse on like TikTok and Twitter about like men are trash and like, men just want one thing, blah blah blah, and like I think that guy made a really good point that like that kind of stereotype is like we should have moved past that already because like right now we're opening discussions to like men's mental health, like that isn't being taken as seriously, and I think like this, like what that guy's talking about, like would kind of fall into that. So I need to give it some thought because like I do have a bias to that. Every time like I'm in a relationship, but every time like a guy like approaches me, I'm always like, oh my God, he just wants to.
Yeah. Wow.
So you do believe that?
I do. And like now I feel bad because I'm like, damn, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I got to stop. Like, what if he just wants to know what I think of the weather today? Like, I don't know.
Is there anything we could do, or like just the 50% of the population, I guess, to get rid of that stereotype? What could we do?
Ooh, I mean, I think like, again, like I just don't want to generalize because it's just like there's loud men that like perpetuate this kind of stereotype, and I think they're like they have the spotlight, so it kind of causes us girls to like stereotype that most men are just interested in like.
That's a really interesting point, I think. And it's kind of like, it goes along with like the squeaky wheel gets the grease sort of thing. Like, so the loudest, the way you said it, the loudest person is the one that gets the most attention, right? And if they're spouting out about things that are, that put the rest of guys in the bad light, then I can't blame people for seeing that and like seeing that repetitively and thinking that a lot of guys are like that, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the stereotype I think, like, I don't have much experience in this, but I think it might come from the environment, the setting that it happens as well.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be as offended, or whatever the right term would be, if someone approached you in a library versus a real loud club, you know, guys like grinding up against you?
Yeah.
Right? Like, those are just the basic examples. There might be other more fitting ones, but you understand the point, right?
Yeah. But I also think, like, just like we live in a patriarchal society that, like, it kind of, like, can I say sex?
Yeah,
like that.
I said it. I said it. Yeah.
Okay. Like, there's a lot of, like, expectations that, like, men are supposed to just, like there's that stereotype that, like, men should always, like, be having sex. Like, I see so many videos that are like the alpha men, like, it's all the girls, and, like, you know, they're super jacked and whatever. And, like, again, they're always the loudest people because they're the ones that are making these videos that are like, you're not alpha if you're not sleeping with, like, 3 girls a week kind of thing. And it just kind of seems like there's a lot of really impressionable men that have fragile egos and, like, that have toxic masculinity that, like, continue to push this message. And I feel like it just influences so many, like, younger guys now, especially with, like, social media, that, like, it just seems like there's more and more of these types of guys that are just interested in sex all the time. So, like, I mean, I know there's still some hopeless romantics out there, but, like, I think, I actually saw this, like, TikTok where this guy was talking about, I know all my resources are TikTok.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Where this guy was talking about how, like, we need to push, like, for, like, content that encourages men to take care of themselves overall, and, like, not care about being alpha, but, like, to actually go to therapy, journal, meditate, and all that. And, like, if we had more guys, like, talking about that, or, like, pushing that kind of message to take care of themselves instead of trying to put out this image that they're, like, you know, douchey and alpha, then, like, I think that would help, like, girls. Like, it would reassure a lot of girls that, like, oh, this guy's, like, mentally and emotionally stable and available, that I could, like, I would actually be interested in getting to know him.
Yeah, so it's more of I think a paradigm shift as opposed to individual people doing, you know, individual things. Because that's a pretty big step to take, I think, to try to make that sort of shift in how men are viewed. Because very much, like you said, there's a lot of that going around where men's mental health and stuff like that aren't being taken seriously enough. I think so, anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I personally have been in a situation where I wanted to bring it up, and I feel like I have no one to really, like, have me take me seriously, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I would phrase it in an environment that would, like, perpetuate further conversation about it, rather than be like, oh, that sucks, you know?
Yeah, I think it's because it's, like, it's still taboo. Like, right now it's still, like, popular that, like, men are, like, sex. And, like, that's not really, like, we're, like what the post said, that girls aren't really that interested in it. Like, of course it's a factor in attraction, but, like, they care more about, like, you know, actually having a partner, and, like, you need a partner that's, like, emotionally and, like, mentally available and is, like, there for you, that can take care of themselves and you.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And just listening in, it feels like this concern is, like, if it's from a guy, it feels like, oh yeah, he's a guy. He mentioned it. It feels like he's blaming the women for thinking like that. But I think it should be the complete opposite, because thinking back is, the reason why women think like that is because men in the past, or men in social media or whatever, have portrayed it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of blaming like your women in general, I think, like, you know, stick with, like, men are the problem in this situation.
Yeah.
I think, right? We portrayed ourselves that way. Therefore, women are going to think that way. So for Ugly, who's the person who put the concern in, I don't think it's the women's fault for thinking like that. If we as men, not everyone, but some men have portrayed themselves that way, therefore women will think that way.
Yeah.
And that's tough, though, because he's not part of the demographic that's spouting out about the alpha, the being like the sex crazed men that, you know, this concern is framing. Like, what do you do? Do you start, like, do you stand on a soapbox in the corner of the street being like, oh, guys have feelings too? Like, what do you do?
Just live your life. Don't worry. I mean, if you're planning to approach someone, do it with respect and be courteous.
But the problem with that is, though, like in the context of this situation, before you even approach someone, you're already being judged, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that guy's-
but that's not the woman's fault, in my personal opinion.
That wasn't the argument.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, what are you supposed to do that before you can even do anything? There's already a picture in someone else's head that, oh, this guy he's walking towards me. He wants to bang.
Well, then you portray yourself as not that kind of guy. I mean, yes, she's judging you, but you can always change someone's opinion.
Yeah.
So if you
Assuming the barrier or the door opens in the first place, like if she even lets herself see who you could really be.
Yes, I mean, again, yes, there are probably women out there that don't open that door whatsoever.
Right.
And I think that's a little bit, not wrong, but a little bit weird. It happens, right?
Yeah.
So, you know what? Then maybe that person's not the right person for you. Because obviously, like you said, Ugly, you're looking for love and companionship. And if she's that closed door, maybe she's not the right person for you.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and go find some other woman that'll be open. Even if she judges, you can maybe change your mind or at least be open to the idea.
I don't know if you guys like heard about this, but like Gen Zs like use Snapchat a lot, right?
Okay.
And I always like saw a bunch of tweets how like it's a red flag if he asks you for a snap, because like girls automatically assume that like you like guys are asking for your snaps so like they could send nudes or like you could send nudes. So like again, it's like that bias, like you're already being like judged. Like what
Yeah.
if this guy wants to heart through Snapchat? Like
Yeah, like you never know. But I mean,
Again, there's going to be women out there that's going to give the guy a chance.
Yeah.
And there's going to be women out there
Mhm.
that's not going to.
and the problem comes when the women giving the guys a chance are like, say 6 times out of 10 getting dick pics instead of heart to hearts. you know?
yeah.
And you know what? Like judging from like some of the small like friends that are girls that I have,
Mhm.
I know they've gotten them, so I can see why women
Mhm.
think like that.
So it's a reality that
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, it's like even if you slide into a girl's DMs, like the girl's like, oh. So like,
it
Yeah.
starts off on the wrong foot,
Yeah.
which it's it's unfortunate, but we caused it. So
yeah,
we kind of did.
yeah, so I think that one wraps it up. Those are like kind of the 2 in 1.
Okay,
So-
okay.
Now we're getting to more like bigger, deeper conversations.
Ooh,
Okay,
okay.
ready, Chloe?
Yeah, that was already deep.
Yeah,
I thought
I thought we
it
were
was.
getting pretty deep too.
All right, this one's from Strawberry Flower. The title is it a bad sign if you've been in a long-term relationship and the guy is still afraid of marriage? I have a friend who's been with her boyfriend for 8 years. They live together and are both 25 years old, but the guy is still afraid of marriage. Does this mean he doesn't want to marry her?
Ooh, oh my god, that's so relatable. I was like, damn. But like, also, I feel like the concept of marriage has definitely changed in like the last 2 generations of millennial and Gen Zs. Like, we don't take it like as seriously, or like so my friends are like literally on the exact same boat where like we've been in long-term relationships and like we live with our partners, but like most of the time we're like, marriage in this economy, or like living like by yourself in like in an expensive apartment in like the city. You're like, I don't know, like even I actually just saw another TikTok about this and it was like talking about how like say moving in with your partner back then was considered a milestone, whereas most young people that move in with their partners now do it out of like economic convenience. So I feel like that also completely changes like how we value marriage as well, because like right now I could go into this like
I can tell.
the rising cost of living and the
Yeah.
inflation and all my student debt. Like I feel like I'm not alone on this boat, and like that it's really hard to prioritize something like that. I mean, it's hard to prioritize marriage, and like I get it. Like if you're really romantic, like you could, but I feel like most people like around my age right now is just thinking about how we can set ourselves up and our partners up in the future financially, rather than like romantically. Like I think like it's hard. I don't want to say that like I don't believe in marriage. It's just like I have too many things like going on, and I feel like I could say like the same for a lot of like millennials, younger or older millennials too.
Personally, the way I see it is that, this is just from my 2 cents, that I'm less hesitant about marriage than I am about a wedding. Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like, because to me, there's a big difference between having a wedding and getting married. Right. You can get married City Hall, no problem.
Yeah.
Like on the weekend, let's get hitched. But having a big traditional, big wedding with 200 people with a big venue, I've seen it referred to as a big party in a dress, right? Like I've seen enough people, like you said, not taking the whole sanctity of marriage seriously enough. I've definitely seen that with enough people calling a wedding a big party in a dress, and I can definitely see that because, and I think you were getting at this, that you're kind of forced to prioritize financial stability nowadays, right? Like it's just the times, just how we live.
Yeah.
So it's becoming harder and harder to justify, quote unquote, a big party in a dress.
Yeah.
Right. You can when you can get married so much with such a much lower barrier. Honestly, like I can't say I think about it too often, but like right now, what's going through my head, it's like, what are you getting married for the wedding or getting married, to be married?
Oh, that's
right?
true.
Like, so I can't necessarily blame the younger generation. I feel old saying that. Showing less emphasis towards being married.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of what being married is, the flashy, the wedding.
Yeah, but and then like there's also like this like the increase in divorce rates. Like we're at like 50% now. And like I think a lot of people are also like afraid of that. And I just lost my train of thought. So someone take over.
Let's put it in a way. So let's say those other factors of, let's say, financial obligations or the wedding, those things are taken care of. You can afford them.
Okay.
Let's just say, right? You can afford a house, all that jazz. You've been dating for a long time, and then your significant other doesn't mention marriage at all, doesn't bring it up, and you and your partner are settled in their own ways, but your significant other just doesn't bring it up, that has no interest in it. Like he just doesn't bring it up, and yeah. Then how would you feel?
I feel like if you're in a long-term relationship, there shouldn't be too much more hesitation about talking about it. Just bring it up.
Yeah.
Not even our wedding, just marriage, right? Like you don't have to put pressure, but like, hey, what do you think our wedding is going to be like? You could just go and say, hey, or like if you want to be sneaky about it, be like, hey, these people just got married. What do you think about their wedding? But this person is in a tough situation because they're a third party.
Yes.
Right? They're she.
They.
Yeah. I don't know if they specified, but they're.
Well, it says I have a friend who's been with their boyfriend, so I'm assuming it's the girlfriend's friend. So let's just assume it's a girl, but again,
we don't know. So,
strawberry flower. Again, it's safe. We don't know. It's safe to assume, but again, if we're wrong,
they're watching their friends, who's been in a long-term relationship, and they have no insight other than what they can see from the outside, right? So that's a tough situation. Sorry, I kind of forgot what the concern was. Did they specify whether or not the girlfriend was venting about?
Yes.
Hey,
so the girlfriend does want to.
And is she concerned? Is the girlfriend concerned that, hey, my boyfriend's not saying anything?
Yeah, I'm assuming so because I didn't specifically say that, but I'm assuming so because she did mention that, yes, my friend who's in the relationship really wants to get married. She wants to get married.
Was there any?
The boyfriend's not saying anything. So
he's saying he's afraid.
So the boyfriend got quoted saying that he's afraid of marriage.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm a little afraid of marriage. I don't know what to think about marriage, that kind of thing. And he told that to his girlfriend, and then the girlfriend told the friend or strawberry at that point.
Oh.
That's rough.
That is rough. Because it's you spent, it's kind of how people say you date to, to get married?
Yeah. You date for the end goal of getting married. Right?
So it's kind of you put in all the time. But then there are people that don't get married and they're still together. But I don't want to sound like I'm traditional, but like I would kind of see that as a red flag.
I would have to agree because it's explicitly said that the girlfriend wants to get married.
Exactly.
Right? Like in general, I don't care what they do.
Yeah.
Right. But if one person wants to get married and the other person is hesitating even after all this time, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I personally, if I put myself in the girlfriend shoes, I'm okay, what am I doing here then?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where are we going?
She could be with someone that also had the goal to get married.
Yeah. Right.
But then, like, how do you get out of that, though? Like, what if he's, like, dead set on not getting married? Well, no, he's not, though. He's just afraid.
He's just afraid.
And I think they need to figure out what that fear is. What is it?
Yeah.
Right? Because they didn't specify. The concern was pretty short, and there's not a lot of details.
Of course. As usual.
But they need to figure out, like, what that afraid is. Is he afraid of divorce? Is he afraid of, like, financial things? Like, if it ends up in a divorce, which... and 100% there's a chance to, right? There's a chance of it. That is going to be a big, like, I guess, a hindrance to him, right? He doesn't want to deal with that. I'm not saying that the marriage won't go well, but maybe that is what he's afraid of, right? But then, you know, people could say he'll get a prenup. But then a lot of people agree and believe that prenup is not the right way to start a marriage or a relationship or anything
whatever,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Because you're planning for
failure,
right?
Yeah.
So,
I used to think that, but then I started working in finance, and I was like, oh, never mind. That's a good idea.
Wow.
I still kind of believe that. Like, you're kind of starting. You're because it means you're not. I mean, again, this is my opinion on this. It feels like you're not trusting that person to be there with you
Through thick and
thin, right? Maybe they'll be there for thin, but not through thick,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
right?
That's
And
true.
that's what he could be afraid of. 25 years old, he's pretty young. I think that's the big thing.
That's true.
Yeah. Even if you dated for 8 years, even if you dated for 10 years, like if you started at, let's say 16 or like, 18, you started dating. I think, 15, they started dating. That's still 25 is a young age for, again, people can get married early, but I personally feel it's a little bit young to have everything settled. Right. And
That's
like you
true.
said, get the wedding all together, buy a house together, whatever it might be. There's people that do it. I just feel like that might be a little bit too young.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't have everything settled. And maybe that's why he's just afraid of jumping into a relationship.
Yeah. Or have you guys watched Marriage or Mortgage on Netflix?
I have not.
Where like they can have a budget and like they have to decide whether they want to put it towards like a wedding or like a brand new house together. And I feel like the timing of that show is just like really perfect because like it's all millennials now that are taking over the workforce, and we're all in that same boat where we're like, do we value, marriage, or like should we get settled and have a house first? And like we're kind of stuck in like that economic dilemma where we have to choose one or the other. And it's actually crazy because when you go on Twitter to like watch like what people are saying about the show, most people get shocked when the couple choose marriage over mortgage.
Wow.
Yeah, because they're like, are you crazy? Like $35,000 to a wedding? Like you could have a house, and like again, it's all like economic. Like that house could increase in value. You guys could sell it together, and like you could, have an even more extravagant wedding and blah blah blah. So I think now like just everyone's priorities and everyone's values are just completely different from like what it was back then. And it sucks because like millennials grew up with boomers that instilled these kinds of values. So like that's why maybe I think that contributes to why this girl is also kind of having doubts, or why she's so adamant on like getting married. And like I'm not saying like I don't believe in marriage, but like there are times where I'm like I keep having to push my idea of getting married. Like my parents got married when they were 27. I'm 26. Like
you have a year.
You're to get everything settled.
Yeah.
And like all I can think about is like, oh my God, my student loan, and like I should own property by now because like now some of my friends are buying property, but like am I doing it to catch up? And then like all of a sudden the idea of like getting married is just getting further and further like pushed back.
Yeah.
So
different economical stage and times.
And
times have changed.
Going back to the concern, it could very well be that the guy is exactly what he shares what Chloe just said.
Yeah.
Right. it might not be that he's scared of marriage. He's thinking way more practically than maybe he should. Who knows?
He's
Right.
being logical instead of being emotional. Because a lot of girls
Yeah.
want to get married and have that like that princess white dress day.
Yeah.
And he's just like, that's not logistically possible, right? I mean, we don't
Yeah.
have the finances, which is fair. I think if everything is settled, like we talked about the two different situations where he's scared of the financial reasons and all that, and if that's the case, then I wouldn't say it's a bad sign. However, if everything's settled and he has a great job, he has the money, but then only just the girlfriend wants to get married and the boyfriend doesn't, then I would say it's a little bit of a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also thinking too that like sometimes it could also be like miscommunicated because even though I like to think practical and like at sometimes I'm like, oh, what if like we had this for a wedding and my boyfriend was like, oh, a wedding? Like even though we're both kind of thinking about the same thing about practicality, like I would kind of get butthurt. Even though like I'm not even like prioritizing marriage,
Right.
but I'm like, why aren't you like
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, why aren't you getting excited about this thing I'm excited
Yeah,
about?
like-
yeah. I could understand that. I
Yeah.
think ultimately she needs to figure out why, like you said, what is he scared of?
Yeah.
And if you really want to drill down and you find out that he's scared of the idea of marriage as opposed to just the instability, financial instability that could come from it and whatnot, then I think, like maybe start thinking about where you want this relationship to be,
Yep.
where you want to be in however many years, like if you want to be married within the next year, I don't think this guy's going to be
The person to do it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I think you should, if that is the case, which we don't know for sure, if that is the case, I think you should really think about it over. And if it goes there, if it does go there and the relationship, and then fine, whatever, prioritize your goals and your dreams instead of waiting for him to change his feelings about marriage, because I don't think it will.
Or who knows, maybe she hears him out and she agrees with what his concerns
That's
are.
true. That
Yeah.
could be true.
You never know.
But again, we need I guess Strawberry's friend needs to know why he's afraid in the first
Yeah,
place.
because that's really general. Like, there's a lot of things to fear when it comes to like
100%,
marriage
yeah.
and settling down with
It's a
someone.
very heavy word.
Yeah.
And that covers about that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. This one's by Legitimate. Title is My Boyfriend Does Not Like It When I Wear Certain Clothes. Hey, so basically, my boyfriend of 2 years gets upset when I wear anything that he considers to be in quote unquote too short. In all honesty, I don't consider my clothes to be too revealing in any sense of the word, but if we are going to the beach, obviously I'm going to wear shorts. A couple days ago, he got upset because I wore shorts to the beach and said that it makes him uncomfortable if other men look at me. So I asked him if he's trying to tell me what to wear, and he said no. He just wants to let me know that the clothes make him uncomfortable, and then he was being all weird and kind of ignoring me. He said that he's not trying to tell me what to wear, and it is his problem to deal with, not mine, so I shouldn't worry about it. However, I feel self-conscious about what I wear now and have to always be concerned about whether my clothes are upsetting him. What would be the best approach to deal with this kind of issue?
Don't date a baddie if you can't handle one. I'm just kidding.
All right, let's go home.
All right, we're done with the next one.
Okay. Ooh, I think he'll just grow out of it, to be honest. Like, I kind of went through something similar, but I also noticed that like a lot of my friends go through the same thing, especially in that 2-year mark. So when she brought that up, like that was kind of on par with not only what I experienced, but also what I've heard from my friends. Cause like that's very early in the honeymoon phase where like the couple is like really in love with each other and like they're scared to lose each other and all that. So they kind of get paranoid, and the guy tends to get like overly protective with like her revealing outfit or whatever. And I think like just if she just can like reassures him and it's like, I want to dress for me, and like it's not, and you got to trust me too that I'm not trying to like get other guys' attention, then like even if he doesn't really get it at that moment, if you just keep doing it and like like living up to what you're reassuring him, then he'll just grow out of it and he won't care what you wear anymore.
Yeah, I
Speaking
feel like
from personal experience. Just kidding.
there you go. There's always going to be a certain level of insecurity, especially that early on in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest point there that I want to emphasize is the reassurance, right? Let him know that you're there for him, but also that I'm expressing myself through what I'm, through what I'm wearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you're right that he's just going to grow out of it, but I feel like a lot of people don't.
It takes a lot of time, but
Yeah, maybe that's just what it is. That it just seems like they don't because it takes too long, and then maybe the relationship ends and he never got over it.
yeah.
But I do hope that he gets over it, and it's. I feel like it's not uncommon. Like you said, all of your friends and even you have experienced that, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, John?
I can see his worry. I can see it. Well, let's ask you: have you told your significant other, or have you heard from your significant other, Chloe, that hey, I don't like it when you wear this piece of type of clothing, whatever it might be, a shirt, pants, whatever.
I have not personally.
For him, it was rompers. He had a thing against rompers.
Is that because it was like too short, too revealing, sort of thing, or?
He said it was like short, but like I had my shorts were like literally the same length, and he didn't have a problem with that. I don't know, but
He
like
just hates rompers.
yeah, he just had a thing against them.
I personally have not.
Yeah, I have in the past. I've mentioned it, but I haven't been like, hey, you need to like change. Like I've been like, hey, don't you think it's a little short? And then she's like, no. I'm like, okay. As long as you think so, like I don't care. I just mentioned it, right? Because I don't want to keep it bottled up and eventually like blow up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he did a good job mentioning it to her. I do see his point, right? Because he might like it's like the whole idea of like if you are wearing those kind of clothing, even though the girl might not be trying to attract other guys might be attracted. So it's that whole idea of it's not that I don't trust you. I don't trust all the other guys.
I'm not a bad driver. Everyone's a bad driver.
It's that idea. And I think that's what he's worried about. Do you if I personally think if you can like change, as long as you're okay with that change in the clothing to make them a little bit more comfortable and you're okay with that, then by all means. But if you are like, no, I don't want to change, then that's fine too. And I don't think you should force yourself to change for him. But if you're willing, if you're like, hey, you know what? I really love this dude. I can do a lot for this guy. And, this is one of those small things I can show my token of love. Then by all means, then yeah. Why not? Right.
Yeah.
I don't think either of them are really, out to left field on this. Like her being concerned about him and him also being concerned about her clothes. Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's common enough that it's kind of like, I guess it's acceptable, right? For people to be concerned either way. But, I completely agree with what you said though. Like if you're not bothered by changing clothes every now and then why not, right? Where's the bad?
Yeah.
It's a little weird though, like if the boyfriend's like, hey, we're going to a beach but don't wear shorts.
Okay, well that like I'm just saying like the idea
Yes.
of her wearing clothes that he's not comfortable with, like, every now and then if she's okay, like you said, if it's not hurting what she's trying to do, then whatever.
And I also get like what you mean when like you're worried about the other guys too. And I think like what I was saying before was like I can take him. Like I don't know. This is like kind of off the topic, but like sometimes like I like analyze the danger level of a creepy guy based on if I can fight him or not. So if he's about to fight me over like if he's about to like creep up on me over like shorts that I'm wearing and I know I can like beat him up, then I'm like, don't worry, I'm not changing. Like yeah, I don't know.
Again, it's like I can see your point. And then if it's a public area, that it could be anybody, right?
Yeah.
Because what if like you go to the beach and like your significant other wasn't comfortable, and then like everyone at the beach is just like this Arnold Schwarzenegger with the rock size guys, right? We don't know, right? It's a public area.
And I think personally, as a boyfriend, I don't think I would want to have to have it to come to that situation. Whether or not you could take him, I don't want it to be like, I don't want you to have to take him.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's kind of on the side of the guy, right?
Yeah. We don't know if that's his reason because he doesn't open up about it, but it could be worth like talking, like opening up that can of worms of like, hey, what are you just making you insecure? Like what's happening here?
I think most guys are either just afraid of like it's too revealing, right? I don't know if she's actually wearing revealing
Right.
clothes, right? I guess
Yeah.
unless I actually like see what that person was wearing, I can't make a decision on that. But from what you told me, and again, this is just your side, wearing shorts at a beach isn't like way out there. Like that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
I don't know
it's-
what you want to wear full jeans to the beach. Like, don't give me the wear.
Let's go swimming. Is it? I'm wondering if it's like it's too revealing. Don't show off to other guys, or if it's like too revealing. You know, your body's a temple. You should treat it with respect. Like which road
could be
does it
both.
go to?
It could be
right?
both.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be
Okay.
both, right? So again, it's one of those things that like I'm not really taking one side or the other. It's kind of like I can see both sides,
Yeah.
right? And you're right. Like Chloe said, maybe eventually he'll get over it.
Yeah.
But there's a chance he might not. And then if that's the case, if you're all comfortable and again, you're all happy to make him happy, then, change, wear different clothing. As long as you're okay with it.
Yeah.
I don't think a guy should tell a girl to like wear this, wear that, whatever.
Yeah, especially
Right.
because there's just so much, like, especially when topics like this get brought up online. Like, so many girls are like, I'm never gonna let a guy like tell me how to dress and stuff. But like, and I am on that side, but like also sometimes if like the request isn't too like insane, then like I'm willing to compromise. You know, like-
But the thing, on the online topic, I've definitely heard this argument, whereas like, yes, the girl will come saying, I don't want a guy to control what I wear. But then if the guy's like, that's fine, I'm not gonna tell you, but I don't want to have a relationship with you, or I don't want to continue anything with you. And then they
I've
get
seen
super upset. And it's just like, why? Why are you getting upset? You made a choice to wear whatever you want, and then he's not forcing you to do anything. But then once he made a decision to be like, okay, that's fine. You can flaunt your body on social media. You can wear bikinis, whatever. I just don't want to be part of that. And then they're like, wow, you're body shaming me. But that's not the case.
I wouldn't say body shaming, but then I feel like at that point, what the girl is upset about is the guy is signaling that he wouldn't ever be in a relationship where he can't tell the girl what to wear. Right. Like that's kind of the road that.
No,
you know what I mean?
I can see that, but let's just assume that's not the case. It's just like he just doesn't want a significant other that flaunts her body on social media that everyone can see. That's fair. I think a lot
Yeah.
of guys would agree to that. But then I've definitely heard the argument where girls will come and be like, well, why? Why are you doing that?
Why are you doing what?
Like, why are you, I guess, not picking me or don't want to be in a relationship with me because I show my body to, or put my body on social media?
It kind of reminds me of like the guys that don't want to date girls that have like OnlyFans.
And that's,
And, like-
if I personally feel if the guy
Yeah.
are like that, that's 100% okay. That's their
Yeah.
choice.
Yep.
They're not forcing that person not to do an OnlyFans or whatever. They just made the decisions like, I don't want to associate myself, or I don't want a significant other that associate themselves with that. And that's fair.
Yeah. Because nothing is being shoved down anyone's throats figuratively.
But there are people out there that will argue that, and that's saying that's wrong. Why? I can do whatever I want with my own body.
The thing is, well, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You are doing whatever you want with
But then
your own
because
body,
of
right?
that issue, that guy or with significant other, whatever, will be like, I don't want to associate myself with that.
That's their choice. No, I agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
but, I know, but I heard the argument. I know you agree with me, and I know
Yeah.
you hear Chloe's
Yeah,
agree with
yeah.
me, but I've definitely heard that. And I'm like, this is so stupid.
I think I'm just getting riled up because I don't agree with it. I'm like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but like to expect people to accept everything about you is just unrealistic, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But-
And plus, like, even in that case where, like, say, like, going back to like the OnlyFans thing where the guy doesn't want to be with the girl that shows off her body and stuff, like, there's always going to be a guy that is down. Like,
Honestly,
for
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, let me be a part of it. Can I take your pictures?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, probably. And that's guys out there. There's
No, that
guys and girls all over the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
not
Personality-wise.
probably. There definitely
Yeah,
is. You know?
yeah. So,
I have, yeah.
but then again, there's like, it's kind of like the same idea as like, let's say, for example, a guy or a girl is overweight, right? And they're okay with that. They're happy with their body. They're body positive with themselves. But then the opposite sex of them will be like, oh, I don't want to date anybody that's overweight. And then those people will be like, well, now you're body shaming me. Why is that the case? It happens.
yeah.
It does. It does happen.
And I don't understand it.
I think just because some topics are a little more sensitive than others, it comes down to people's insecurity, right? If
But they shouldn't be insecure. They're happy with that.
that's what well, okay, I can't speak for everyone, but like obviously if you're being butthurt about it, then there's something about it that you're insecure, right? Like,
Yeah, you're projecting.
You're projecting 100%. Right.
As long as we're all in agreement.
No, I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. Like there could be people there that just stand for the idea of like, you shouldn't, discriminate based on people's body size. And that's fine.
But again, if someone comes up to me and just, I think it's a little wrong to say it this way, but some people, there's going to be people out there like, I don't date fat people. Is that wrong? I think you could have worded it better, but
Yeah.
at that point, it's your opinion.
It is your opinion.
Yeah.
I think I saw like this discourse on Twitter about like preferences, and like I think most people have like a set preference that maybe they don't want to say out loud because it's problematic, but I think it's also like our responsibility to kind of dissect where these preferences come from. Like say for me, like, I only like white guys. Like maybe it's because we grew up in like in a culture that was like heavily colonized, and we prioritize white people on that spectrum. And like, so yeah, I think it's just,
it could come from a completely innocent place, right?
or
As
that.
as harsh that it can sound, like I only date white guys, right?
Yeah.
It can sound like it could put people off, definitely. But like you said, once you go into it, once you dissect it, it's like there could be very, reasonable reasons as to why.
There's going to be someone 100% out there. It's going to be
Of
like,
course there's always
they're
someone.
going to be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so racist. Why?
There's
Right?
always someone.
Yeah.
You can't get away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the revealing one. Yeah, again, it's your choice to wear whatever you want. I don't think the guy has any right to like force it on you. But if you want to be nice, right, there's something that doesn't hurt you to be nice,
Yeah.
right, then do it. And
then-
if you don't, if that's the case, then maybe just like what Chloe said, he'll just forget about it.
At this point, how does she stop being insecure about what she wears now, though? Like,
I think like for her, she should just continue wearing what she wants and like let him like react how he wants to, and let him get it out of his system. And like he kind of would get used to just her, and maybe even like actually start to accept and understand why like she's comfortable wearing what she wears instead of what he tells her to wear. So
then, okay, then I have a question for you. Let's say she does that. And I'm okay with that decision. But then the guy's like, you know what? If you're going to continue to do that, I don't want this relationship to continue. Would you be okay with that?
probably not. Like I wouldn't.
Because you went with your choice. He's going with his choice.
That's true. Then like.
So then would you change for him, or would you, like, what would you do?
I mean, I would try to find a compromise at least, and like, try to hear him out and as to why he doesn't want me to wear certain things. But like, if it's getting to the point, obviously, that like he's just being controlling, then obviously I probably wouldn't want to be with him. But if it's like, if I can just tell that he's being like completely paranoid, and like because we're in like that, maybe it's because I've been in a really long relationship that we had to kind of get over that hurdle, that like it literally just took a lot of like feminist talk with him and be like, women can wear whatever they want. And like, and gradually like my boyfriend just changed his mind and was like, whatever, like doesn't affect me. Like she's not being like, because it's not like I dress revealing either. Like at that, there were points where like I knew he was just being paranoid, and like I wasn't willing to make a compromise there. I was like, you just have to get over it. But it also just like, it depends on how. I completely think, I mean, I'm biased, and I completely think the girl here is in the right, because like she should just be able to wear whatever she wants. And it's not like her fault that guys sexualize her and are predatory towards what she wears. So I think she should just do whatever.
Yeah. I don't think, like I said, I don't think at this point, I don't think anyone's doing anything wrong.
No, I don't think, I would agree with what Chloe said. I believe what you said. I don't think anyone's doing anything wrong. And if she wants to continue, like Chloe said, by all means, do what you want. I'm not, no one should tell you what you do. It's your life, your clothes, do what you want with it.
Yeah. And then like he'll realize like later that like, she's wearing shorts on the beach. Like what else is she gonna wear? Like,
yeah, I mean,
right,
in that situation, yes, I agree with you. But then maybe
yeah.
in other situations, it's like way more serious. Again, I guess my final 2 cents on this is just, you can decide whatever you want. I think that's fine. Whatever he decides is his decision.
Yeah. But I think like in that situation, like I think he should be like he'll probably have some sort of realization that he's like, oh, I am kind of being paranoid.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping because it's hopefully an insecurity that he can just get over.
Yeah.
Because the way I see it is like, oh, everyone's gonna see how pretty my girlfriend is.
Yeah.
And, like,
That's-
that sort of thing.
yeah.
That's like 90%.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
would say. That's what I would
exactly.
say is going on. And it's like at this point, you have to realize, dude, you're with her, not them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you have nothing to be insecure about. And if she really wants to take action about this, going back to what you said, very top of this concern, reassure him.
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome. Any last words from any of you guys?
No, I think that covers
No,
it.
that's
All
good.
This is the last one. This one is from JXX. Title is, my fiance wants to wait until marriage to have sex, and I can't stand it anymore. Me, who is a 23-year-old female, and my fiance, who is a 24-year-old male, have been together for 4 years. We've always had a great relationship, but we haven't had sex yet. He is a virgin. He wants to wait until marriage because of his own reasons and beliefs and his religion. His, not mine. I am not a virgin. In fact, I have a past. I used to party a lot before I met him. I've had one-night stands. I've had other relationships, and he knows all of that. We're opposites, but we still get along quite well. We are getting married next year, and we both desperately want to sleep together. The only thing stopping us is him. We always have our moments. We both get really turned on, but then he decides to stop before we actually get to the point of having sex. Around a month ago, we got really close to doing it, and from that day on, he decided he doesn't want to do anything like making out in bed, anything like that, oral sex, masturbating, see each other naked, and all those things have kept me from going insane from the fact that I haven't had sex in 4 years. I respected his decision all the way until now, but I just don't see what's the point anymore. We're both crazy to do it. We're getting married anyways. Why does he want to keep waiting? Nobody believes it when we say we haven't had sex yet. We sleep together quite often, as in we literally just sleep, and we just started dating. His mom told me we don't have to lie to her and asked me if I'm on birth control. I really don't know what to do. I feel like if I get him a little bit drunk and tease him, he'll do it. But I'm afraid he'll resent me afterwards. But I really can't stand to keep waiting until next year. And I can't think of better options.
Let's just get it out of the way that like getting him drunk would be RAPE. So
Yeah, that's not an option.
but damn, girl, she has a lot of willpower.
See,
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Damn.
She must really love this man. But Gerald, it's about church. This is your thing.
Wow, you're going there. He didn't say church once. He said religion, and then you looked at me.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
this is your topic.
No. What do you mean? You have
I'm
to go
just
first.
kidding. I mean, they're already getting married, right?
Next year, yeah.
Oh. If she can wait
I heard that.
if she can wait 4 years, she can wait one more, I guess. And like buy a vibrator. I don't know.
Honestly, you can't force him to do it, especially in this situation. You can't
Mhm.
you can't be the one getting him drunk. No, that's not an option
Mhm.
here. I just have to say, I know she sounds just like super horny.
Yeah, I was gonna
She's
say
just
that.
like so hard up, and she's just like she needs it bad.
Oh yeah, because I mean, she wouldn't have sent this concern in if
Man.
if she was like, oh, I'm okay with this, right?
Like it's not her talking, it's her hormones.
Yeah,
But I mean, I don't know, girl, get a vibrator. Like
you have a year left, and there must be a reason why you're still with this guy even after
yeah.
4 years of no sex, right?
Exactly. Plus, like, if he's a virgin, then like maybe he'll suck the first time. So like,
But they've done stuff,
Oh, they've done
Yes,
right?
they've
They've
done
done
stuff,
things.
so, yeah.
They've done
True.
sexual things, right?
They just haven't done that act
Yeah.
to make
They
sure
just
it's
haven't. Yeah, and I think she mentioned that the thing that's tipped her over the edge is the fact that he's stopped.
That's the thing. He
agreeing,
stopped
right?
everything.
what a tease.
I think it was part of his strategy.
Yeah.
He's like, this first night of this honeymoon is going to be legendary.
And it should be, right? He waited all his life for it.
Yeah.
And that's fair. And, if that's his beliefs, and you're right, like Chloe said, you waited 4 years, you can wait one more year or, less than a year if it's next March or something. But yeah, just wait. It sucks. I see you're saying because he stopped everything.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's the hardest part for her. But let's say if you didn't get him drunk, let's say he was completely sober and he eventually caved. I still feel like he'll resent you for it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it was completely consensual with him, especially if he held out being a virgin for this long because of his religion, I don't think he'd be that he should give it up that easily.
Yeah.
That she'd let him give it up that easily.
Yeah.
But again,
Okay. Well, let's kind of flip it around. What if he wasn't a virgin?
Interesting.
What if he wasn't a virgin? How would you feel?
Ooh.
He came up to you. The guy came up to you and he's like, "Hey, I just don't want us to have sex before marriage, because let's say I recently got into religion and the religion taught me this and I really follow it through and through. But before I didn't, because that's possible, right?
It is.
Can
It's
change
entirely
now.
possible.
And then he's like, I just want to wait until marriage. What would you say?
I think I'd still be the same. If someone's that devout to their religion. Also, I heard Justin Bieber did that. With his new wife, they didn't have sex for a year or something. Or no, yeah, they didn't have sex for a year, and then, but I don't know. It doesn't matter how long you've been religious. If I know it's something that you're really passionate about, then I wouldn't let one night compromise your faith.
So let's say he wasn't religious. That's what he believed. He's like, you know what? I just don't. Well, I want to wait. I want to make that night special, but I just want to wait until marriage.
Then yeah, still,
that's okay.
Yeah, just
that,
you
should
gotta
respect
respect it. That's kind of the foundation of your marriage too. You have to respect each other. So
it wouldn't matter if he's a virgin or not.
what's the alternative? What would you do otherwise?
Yeah, no,
Just
I'm
break up?
just curious. Well, some people would.
I guess.
There are definitely people out there, and
yeah.
I've talked to them, that they're like, no. I will not get married to someone unless we sleep together once, because a lot of people, and I think it's just the kind of the age now that we live in, is that sex is just as important as everything else, right? Trust, respect. And if that's not good, they feel like the marriage will fall apart.
actually, yeah, that's true. Especially apparently if you date in this day and age, and if you don't sleep together after 3 dates, and all of a sudden that means the guy or the girl is not interested in you. There's definitely a lot of emphasis put on sex when it comes to relationships, but when it's for religious purposes, I don't know,
Even if it's not.
Even if it's
religious.
not,
Yeah.
right?
I think if it's what you believe in and you love this person, you should respect that.
exactly.
Buy a vibrator.
And he held out up until now.
Do what the Mormons do. Well, okay, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I wish I remember what the term was. I think it's camping or something like that. But there's this thing going around on TikTok again that talking about how Mormons just stick it in and let it sit. Because apparently, if there's movement, then it's considered
No.
sex.
I've never heard of
I've
that.
never heard of that,
ever
and
in my
I
life.
disagree. I think it's once it's in there, you've had it.
Yeah.
You know what? I have Mormon friends, and I don't think I'm going to ask them about this.
Ask them what the term is.
I'm
'Cause
good.
it's such a funny word. And there was
Camping.
even rumors where they would have a friend rock the bed for movement, because if the
you lose.
person didn't do it.
Wait, so you bring a friend into that intimate situation? Okay, that just makes it worse in my opinion, but okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of this either.
Really? If you have Mormon friends, they probably don't want to tell you.
That's true. Why would they tell us?
Yeah,
No,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to know.
Unless they invite us to rock the bed.
I will courteously decline that.
Like, no, I'm good.
It's oh no, I bumped into the bed.
Yeah. My goodness. What was the question?
She doesn't know what to do. She's lost because she lost everything, and I think we all came to agreement that you waited 4 years. It's his big belief. It's not I could see a little bit of resentment if he wasn't a virgin, I can see if the girl's like, you know what, like he had sex with other girls, like, but he just won't do it with me. Like I can see that argument coming to play, but he didn't. Right? He believes in that religion or whatever he believes in, and you waited 4 years for it because I'm assuming you love this guy because you're about to get married. Just wait a little bit longer.
But even if like they weren't a virgin like before, I don't know. I think it would still be like, I don't know. It's still his choice.
It's still his decision.
Like
I agree
think-
with you. But I'm just saying, like, I could see the woman arguing if that was the case, and there's no religious or anything like that.
Yeah.
He just decided out of the blue. I could see it. Why would he decide for me and not for everybody else? Kind of thing.
I feel like she'd have that thought though because she's horny still.
yeah.
Like,
Why?
like, she's
What
like,
is it
why-
about me? You know?
Yeah.
And that like, I can see why if she brought that up, I could see her point. But that's not the case.
I think just to flip the table here, I think he's lucky he found someone that cares about him so much.
Yeah.
That would stay with him through all of this, through being like all the hormones and being super horny, and not even say that, oh, why isn't he, what's wrong with me? Like she's not insecure about it. She's just horny. Right?
Yeah. The other thing too is like, I had this like talk with my boyfriend that like especially because she's not religious, and like I was thinking how like if I'm not religious, like I wouldn't date a guy that's really religious.
Yeah.
Cause like I feel like there'd be a lot of like conflicting values and just interests that aren't the same. So like the fact that she's like doing this, like she's literally dating a guy the complete opposite of her, is like telling a lot.
He must be a catch.
Yeah. It's like how I wouldn't date like a gamer guy because like I don't game. It makes me nauseous. So like,
Oh, really? Like motion sick?
yeah, I got
Oh.
motion
Like, but again,
sickness.
everyone will have different interests.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure like past relationships, I've done things that I like, but like let's say for example, working out. Like some girlfriends haven't worked out. Like they just don't work out. They're like, I don't want to go to the gym, which is fine. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah. Not everything has to line up every
Yeah.
single time.
Exactly.
Right? So-
But I think something as extreme as like religion though, because I know there's definitely people that like devote their whole lives to
Yeah.
it. Like I think that like if it's something like hobbies and interests like gaming and working out and whatever, like whatever, that's just a difference in interest. But I feel like if it's something as serious as religion where it also like helps dictate your lifestyle, then like that's another like that's something that I don't think I could. It's like how I wouldn't date like a redneck like conservative dude. You know,
It's a difference in the fundamental difference in interest.
Yeah. So interest differences are fine. Value differences
That's
will make a big difference. And I agree with you 100%. If my values don't match up with my significant other, I don't want to like even like let's say if I was like interested in someone and our values don't match up, I don't even want to pursue a relationship.
Yeah.
Because like, for example, like I want to get married. I want to have kids, right? If the girl's like, I don't want to have kids. Oh, well, it's never going to work out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's never going to work out.
If your end goals are so completely divergent, then it's
And it goes both ways. Let's say if I don't want kids and the girl does, right? Again, it's just never going to work out. So interest, if they're wildly different, whatever. Values, they have to be like to a degree similar. And, if one can compromise, then great. But if they're like wildly different, no, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's a given too, right? So.
Whoever, if that girl's like listening to this and we're like, yeah, it's not gonna work. You're not religious, and like,
No, that's not what we're getting at.
I don't. Yeah, religion. I think I would say it falls under the value spectrum, but
That depends on the person.
it depends on the person. I think that's the case.
In this case, I think it falls under like it's heavy enough that it's part of his values.
Yeah,
It dictates part of his values.
And I mean, like I have a religion, but I personally believe my significant other doesn't have to have a religion. Like that's not a big value to me, but obviously to JXX's fiance, it is.
yeah.
So. Any final words for JXX on this matter?
Buy a vibrator. They're not that expensive.
Just get them in different sizes.
Have fun. Is what you're saying.
Have fun.
Okay,
Just another year.
Conclude. Let's do a quick review because we had 5. And Chloe, if you can take the first 2, because again, it's a guy asking a girl directly. In a sentence or 2, if you can recap. If a man is genuinely interested, will he approach you? Do women really believe this?
Yes. Ish. Ugh. I forgot we had that talk.
Yeah.
But like, just don't be creepy. That's it. And like, express your interest respectfully, and just don't be creepy. That's like the biggest thing.
And then why is that women think that every guy is just trying to get laid?
Society,
That-
social media.
Honestly, that really
it's-
racks it up. And Gerald, if you can do this one, is it a bad sign if you've been in a long-term relationship and the guy is still afraid of marriage?
I forgot what we all concluded, but I think that it could be, especially if he's just avoiding the situation. If he's afraid of a wedding wrecking his finances, then I think there's more to talk about there. But if going back to the values thing, if the values are just diverging and he doesn't like the idea of getting married, but you want to get married, then yeah, that's a bad sign.
And Chloe, we can get this one. My boyfriend does not like it when I wear certain clothes.
Don't date a baddie if you can't handle one.
Love it.
Is
That is.
That's
I'm
what
with
it
you,
is.
girl.
okay? And my fiance wants to wait till marriage to have sex, and I can't do it anymore. Again, we're all here. Just wait for it. You waited 4 years, you can win another year.
And to get a vibrator.
And to get it.
Well, that concludes episode 20
Big 2-0.
of Penny for Our Thoughts. How was it, Chloe?
It was great. I
a good
love
time?
getting deep.
Did you have fun at least?
Yeah, this was a good experience.
Awesome. Was this your first podcast?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's inspiring.
Hopefully you can come back on.
Maybe I'll have something to plug this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have your own
let us know.
podcast, maybe.
And for everyone listening, if you have a concern or worry or problem that you have and you would like an honest and third-party opinion on, please do not hesitate to give us an email at givesometous@gmail.com. Again, that is just givesometous@gmail.com. Chloe, thank you very much for coming on to this episode for Penny for Our Thoughts. And for you listening in, thank you for tuning in. And I hope to see all your beautiful faces next week. And Gerald looking at me, we're on YouTube.
Hey.
So we're on YouTube. So if you want hashtag PFOT, if that's your media outlet choice, I guess is that the word, we're on YouTube. But again, thanks again, and hope to see all your beautiful faces again next week.
Chloe, thanks for joining us. And as always, thanks everyone for listening. Stay kind to each other.